Thank you so much. Welcome everyone to the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Good morning. My name is Camille Sinclair and I will be your moderator for today's proceedings. We'd like to say good day. Welcome to the visibility ceremony for the financing agreement to provide budget support towards addressing environmental and climate change challenges through improved forest management in Jamaica. This partnership is between the Government of Jamaica and the European Union. As Jamaica celebrates its 60th year of independence, it is important to highlight the relationships with its international development partners, IDPs, such as the European Union, EU, and the significant contributions made in assisting Jamaica to achieve its development objectives. The EU remains the largest provider of grant assistance to Jamaica and has been a consistent partner in advancing Jamaica's reform agenda through the provision of budget support financing. The Government of Jamaica welcomes the support of the EU to assist the GOJ in implementing the Forest Policy for Jamaica 2017, as well as supporting the 2016 to 2026 NFMCP to sustainably manage and utilize Jamaica's forest resources to enhance social and economic development and contribute to building the country's climate resilience. At this time, I want to extend a warm welcome to the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clarke, MP, Minister without Portfolio, Senator the Honorable Matthew Samuda, Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Financial Secretary Darlene Morrison of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, Anetito Rodriguez Ruiz, Chargé d'Affaires, Head of Cooperation, the European Union Delegation to Jamaica. And let me also welcome the other delegation members. His Excellency Hugo Verbiest, Ambassador, Kingdom of Belgium. His Excellency Olivier Guillenvarc, Ambassador, the French Republic. And his Ambassador Diego Bermejo Romero de Terreros, Ambassador, the Kingdom of Spain. I hope I got everybody's name correctly. We also have in our midst Dr. Wayne Henry, CDJP, Director General, Planning Institute of Jamaica, Ainsley A. Henry, JP, and CEO and Conservator of Forest at the Forestry Department, the media, other specially invited guests, other members of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, and other guests joining us virtually as we are streaming live on YouTube and as well as Facebook, and I believe JIS is streaming as well. Our first speaker is Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clarke, MP, the Minister of Finance and the Public Service. Mr. Clarke is a Member of Parliament for St. Andrew Northwestern. He has served as Ambassador of Economic Affairs, where he represented Jamaica's interests with multilateral institutions such as a senator in the upper house of the Jamaican Parliament. Minister Clarke's public sector career also includes service over various periods as Chairman of the National Housing Trust, Chairman of the Port Authority of Jamaica, Chairman of the Heart Trust, and Director of the Bank of Jamaica. Minister Clarke has also been an active social entrepreneur, where he is the founding chairman of the National Youth Orchestra of Jamaica, an NGO that operates music for social change programs at 8 centers in Kingston and Spanish Town. Welcome, Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clarke.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies. Let me begin by welcoming my colleague Minister, Minister Samuda, Charge Affairs of the European Union in Jamaica, Financial Secretary, Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, other representatives of the European Union and from the Ministry of Finance and Economic Growth and Job Creation, members of the media, good morning, and especially morning to you who are tuning in on social media. Today, we take the opportunity to recognize what has been an incredible partnership between Jamaica and the European Union. Many times, the the nature of this partnership is not obvious to the public. The depth of our cooperation and the strength of the assistance that is often provided is many times not visible. And we, in this 60th year of our independence, believe it is critically important to recognize the partnerships that have been crucial to Jamaica's development. The European Union has been and is the largest provider of budgetary grant support to the government of Jamaica. Now, grant support is a fundamentally different thing from loan financing. Grant support consists of financial resources in the form of millions of euros that the European Union essentially gives to Jamaica on the understanding that they'll be used to implement particular programs. Today, we are highlighting one of the more recent grants, and it's a grant of 16.695 million euros from the European Union to the government of Jamaica, a grant that is focused on climate change issues and forestry management issues. Now, this grant has been critical in advancing policies and programs in very important areas of Jamaica's environmental development. As we know, as a small island situated in the Caribbean Sea, protecting and managing our environment is critically important for our sustainable development. The achievements of this grant and the policies that it has supported include the fact that we have improved the legislative and policy framework around forestry management. We have been able to improve our watershed management. We've been able to finalize the boundaries of the cockpit country, among other policy achievements and initiatives. To get this done has, it's not simply a grant that comes to the consolidated fund and that's the end of it. There are a lot of people who have to work together to make these policy, to advance these policies that the grants support. And I want to take a moment to recognize some of those agencies and ministries, which include the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and Minister Matthew Samuda is going to speak later, the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the National Land Agency, as well as the Forestry Department, all of whom would have played crucial roles in the policy successes of this grant program. Now, the European Union's contribution to Jamaica's development goes beyond this particular area, but it's important. 16 million euros translates into billions of Jamaican dollars, and it's very important in the context of our budgetary financing. That is a significant grant, and it's important that we recognize and pay tribute and to show gratitude to the European Union for this contribution. And it's also important for us to recognize that that contribution has yielded success and has yielded tangible, demonstrable, measurable success. And that goes to show that Jamaica is a partner on which the European Union can depend. When you support us with grant resources, we implement the policies that we commit to implement. So, as we say in Jamaica, enough respect to the European Union for your consistent support of Jamaica, and thanks to all those in the ministries, departments, and agencies who have been responsible, working together as a team across government for the implementation of the policy initiatives that go along with this grant. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Minister Clark. We are fully aware that a lot of things that get done in this country happen because of the partnerships that we have. Our next speaker is Mr. Anetito Rodriguez Ruiz, Chargé d'Affaires, AI, at the delegation of the European Union to Jamaica, Belize, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and the Cayman Islands. His substantive post is head of cooperation, but before this, he was deputy head of unit for human resources and deputy head of unit for bilateral relations with Latin America and the Caribbean at the Directorate General for International Partnerships and Development in the European Commission. He joined the EU delegation to Jamaica in September of 2021 and has over 32 years of service with the European Commission. Please make him welcome.
Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. Sinclair, Master of Ceremonies. Honorable Dr. Nigel Clark, Minister of Finance and Public Service, Senator Honorable Matthew Samuda, Minister at the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, ambassadors of the European Union member states, Dr. Wayne Henry, Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Mr. Ansley Henry, CEO and Conservator of Forests at the Forestry Department, senior officials from the Ministry of Finance and Public Service, of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, PIOJ, Forestry Department, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would like first to greet you on behalf of Ambassador Marianne van Steen, who unfortunately is out of the country and could not join this morning event as she would like. Today, we have converged to mark a significant milestone in Jamaica's push towards improved forest management. The overall objective of the Improved Forest Management for Jamaica Budget Support Program is to assist the Government of Jamaica in implementing the forest policy of 2017. This program is also supporting the activation of the National Forest Management and Conservation Plan 2016-2026 to sustainably manage and utilize Jamaica's forest resources to enhance social and economic development and contribute to building the country's climate resilience. This program aligns neatly with Vision 2013, the Jamaica's National Development Plan, also with the European Green Deal and, of course, with the Global Sustainable Development Goals. This program has 4 modalities. Its main one has already been mentioned by the Minister, is budget support. It's direct injection of resources that merge with domestic resources in the national budget. There is a component of policy dialogue. There is technical assistance for business development support for the forest sector, and nonetheless, provision of grants to civil society organizations with the purpose to improve the livelihoods of people in forest-dependent communities and strengthen participation, budgeting, and financial management among actors in the forest sector. This program is supported by the EU, has already been mentioned, with 16.5 million euros, roughly 2.7 billion Jamaican dollars. And it is important to note that despite the COVID-19 pandemic and all the restrictions and all the limitations that came with this pandemic, the government has succeeded in achieving the relevant targets that were fixed under the budget support modality. The eligibility criteria that comes together for the budget support has also been satisfactory filled, and we also saw very satisfactory progress in this what we call the eligibility criteria for budget support. That means having a sector policy in forestry, macroeconomic stability, public financial management, and budget transparency. Today's ceremony marks the most recent disbursement to the government, that was 4 months ago, of 4.25 million euros, more or less 700 million Jamaicans. This EU budget support has funded so far 46 projects implemented by the Forestry Department aimed at providing alternative livelihoods in forest-dependent communities. There has been a keen focus equipping residents of these communities with the skills to utilize forest resources in more sustainable ways. We can all agree that youth and sustainability go hand in hand, so we are very pleased that over 5,000 students across 137 early childhood, primary and secondary schools were engaged in a program to improve their knowledge of forest conservation and climate change. At a broader level, preliminary assessment of the National Forest Management and Conservation Plan shows good progress. The forest policy addresses the activities that are deemed crucial to the maintenance of a vibrant forestry sector. These include the need for the development of forest management plans, mechanisms also governing forest management data collection, and the demarcation of jurisdictional boundaries. Notably, the Forest Department completed 2 national pilot assessments. They were aimed at effectively calculating the above-ground carbon stock, thereby assisting in providing quantifiable information for carbon credit trading and reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation compliance. Ladies and gentlemen, it is clear that good things are happening in Jamaica's forestry sector, and the European Union will continue to work in partnership with the government to bolster environmental protection across the country. Additionally, I would like to commend the Forestry Department for the ongoing efforts in reshaping the forest sector through this program. Finally, it is very important to underscore that the steady improvements to Jamaica's public finance management framework have and continue to shape the EU-Jamaica's partnership in very positive ways. We look forward to the possibilities of our partnership, and as we build out the next phase of our programming in other sectors also here in Jamaica, with still budget support as our preferred implementing modality. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was Mr. Anetito Rodriguez Ruiz, Chargé d'Affaires AI at the Delegation of the European Union to Jamaica, Belize, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Cayman Island. Next, we have Minister without Portfolio, Senator the Honorable Matthew Samuda in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, who will deliver his remarks. Senator Samuda has successfully pursued several interests in the civic, political, and commercial fields. These pursuits have contributed to him being an individual with an appreciation for global sustainability advocacy, while being nationally conscious and politically astute. He has worked in the fields of entertainment, marketing, and project management. In addition to contributing to the enhancement of the business of entertainment, Minister Samuda has a deep regard for our environment. This led him being a founding partner up until 2010 of Jamaica's first full-service recycling company, One Jamaica Recycling. This company processed waste material for export and in turn saves our natural environment. And in 2016, he had the honor of tabling a private member's motion in the Jamaica Parliament, which led to a ban on single-use plastic and styrofoam in 2019. So we can say he is definitely a friend of the environment. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator the Honorable Matthew Samuda.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies. And to colleagues at the head table, I hope you'll allow me to acknowledge that protocol has already been established and proceed. I do have the distinction of being Cabinet's resident tree hugger. So this is a particularly important morning for us. It is indeed my pleasure to deliver remarks at this visibility ceremony for the financing agreement between the Government of Jamaica and the EU to improve forest management in Jamaica. Firstly, I have to commend the European Union for being an outstanding partner to us here in Jamaica, particularly in terms of our sustainable development initiatives, including environmental preservation, conservation efforts, and in building our resilience to climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, it's no doubt that we are in uncertain times. But beyond the geopolitical instability, the world is now experiencing the impacts of climate change and are likely to experience significantly greater impacts that can affect our collective future. There is a collective rallying around the cause for climate action. Indeed, our scientists globally and locally have been warning us that this is perhaps the last chance we have to secure our future and save the planet. Our own Prime Minister has said, as recently as his last budget presentation, that sustainable economic development cannot be on the back of environmental degradation, and inclusive prosperity cannot be steeped in pollution. The truth is, if we fail, we risk the lives and livelihoods of current and future generations. As such, failure is truly not an option. But as we say in Jamaica, one hand can't clap. We continue to show appreciation for the support provided by the European Union, and indeed all of our development partners in our efforts to become environmentally astute and climate resilient. This financing agreement is among several programs for which the EU has either provided grant funding or technical support, and indeed other methods of support over a period of several years, while supporting the 8 principles that the government has identified as being critical to the sustainable management of the island's forest cover. I'm proud that under this program, the Forestry Department has achieved all its targets under the 8 indicators, and I congratulate Dr. Henry and his team. This resulted in the approval for payment of the 3rd tranche of funds under this 4-year agreement to the government of Jamaica. I also note that during the past financial year, 26 of the 46 projects approved were completed, with the remaining 20 on track for completion. Dr. Clark would have mentioned the completion of the cockpit country protected area under law. This is one that the government of Jamaica is particularly proud of. Now, one point that I always like to make when we're discussing this area, the government of Jamaica would have gone further than it committed to under the commitment to protect the forest, to protect the cockpit country protected area. We had proposed a protected area of 74,000 hectares. We have exceeded 78,000 hectares after the ground truthing exercise was completed by the Forestry Department, NLA, and indeed NEPA. The completion of our National Mangrove Forest Management Plan is another outstanding achievement. As you know, mangroves are a critical part of coastal ecosystems and provide the first line of defense against storms. They're also critically important for carbon sequestration. Apart from the verification and mapping of 8,000 hectares of mangroves, the strategic plan of action for the management of Jamaica's remaining mangrove forests defines the mechanisms for collaborative action, ensuring the sustainable management of this critical forest source. Colleagues, the truth is I can go on and on and on in listing the environmental achievements of this government. And as I've often said, it is proving to be the greenest government since independence. But that can only be done with the support of partners like the EU. So we again extend our thanks, and we look forward to continue working with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Senator the Honorable Matthew Samuda. I don't think I can get the image of you being a tree hugger out of my mind anytime soon. But thank you so much for highlighting all the achievements. I'm not sure persons would have been aware that so much has been done. But when you laid it all out there, it gives us a better understanding. And of course, no partnership is a partnership unless we have it documented, unless we take a picture, unless we have a lovely photo. And so now we are going to have a symbolic photo moment with all of the partners that are involved in today's visibility ceremony. So while we prepare for that, I think it is time for me to basically close this out so that we can get an opportunity to do that afterwards. All right, so I want to say thank you so much for joining us today for the visibility ceremony for the financing agreement to provide budget support for addressing environmental and climate change challenges challenges through improved forest management in Jamaica. The government of Jamaica extends sincere gratitude to the European Union for assisting in the implementation of the Forest Policy for Jamaica in 2017, as well as supporting the 2016 to 2026 NFMCP to sustainably manage and utilize Jamaica's forest resources to ultimately enhance social and economic development and contribute to building the country's climate resilience. Today, we heard from the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark, MP, and Etito Rodriguez-Ruiz, Head of Cooperation, representing the European Union, Ambassador and Head of Delegation, Minister without Portfolio, Senator the Honorable Matthew Samuda, representing the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. This partnership is between the government of Jamaica and the European Union. Thank you so much for joining us. I was your Master of Ceremonies, Camille Sinclair. We'll now have our photo moment.